Welcome to the Loveland Report and Lone Ranger Show. We've been talking about what's going on in the market, interest rates. We're still in a seller's market. Prices are still rising. You need to buy something now if you haven't already. If you want to buy another house, call me. I'll help you make your real estate plan. I've got some great listings here. I've got Bay Hill, South Bay, $1,017,000, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, 3,100 square feet, big, beautiful corner lot with a circular driveway. It is split plan, 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, gorgeous open air living areas, pocket doors that open up, great for entertaining out to the pool deck, and Turkish travertine throughout. I've got one in Dr. Phillips, and this is a beautiful New Orleans style. Look at that house, Bruce.
Beautiful,
2-story,
gorgeous
provincial style for $940,000. Best price around, 3,500 square feet, 5 bedrooms, 4 baths with a pool. Seller just did a major renovation, all the flooring, $70,000 kitchen, brand new appliances, masters on the first floor. Upstairs, you've got 3 more bedrooms plus a bonus room for $940,000. Then we go to Conway Gardens. This is a really cool house, $825,000, 3,100 square feet, guest apartment, loft, kind of a cabana over the pool, almost like a perch, like a tree house out back, but it is part of the house. Tile roof that was replaced a couple years ago. And then we've got a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath main home with a den. So marble floors and tile floors throughout. And then best part, a 3/4 acre lot in Conway Gardens. So great location close to downtown. Orange Tree Country Club on the fairway, $750,000, 2,500 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths. And this floor plan, I've got this floor plan. This is my neighborhood. Big, enormous master bedroom, very large master bedroom with large master bath. Everything's been renovated. Closet organizers, new tile in the bathrooms, travertine throughout the house. You've got a 3-way split plan with a 1-bedroom off by itself and its own little guest bath and 2 kids' rooms on the far end of the home. And then you're on the golf course and plenty of room for a swimming pool. And then we've got a 1-acre property, half-acre property on the edge of Plymouth Sorrento Road and the 429, all that part of Apopka that's growing for $373,000, Bruce. This house is all done, all remodeled. Beautiful. It's got a pool, 1,300 square feet, perfect condition, move right in, no HOA for $373,000.
There's your first-time home buyer right there.
And then
or downsize.
And I've got 2 condos downtown for $160,000. 1-bedroom studios. One of them's got lower fees at $250. It's in really good condition. So call me if you want to take a look at any of those at 407-352-8118 or go to cleveloveland.com. And I want to ask you something quick, Bruce. One good bit of news going on right now in the market, property insurance. Our friend John Tankersley at Pine Street, property insurance has a lot more people coming into the state. So there's competition, which is lowering prices. So I've seen that. I'm seeing people, I had people in starter homes getting $3,000 policies, and we're back to the $2,300, $2,400 policies. And I'm seeing that. So go to We Shop Home Insurance now, but because that makes up part of your payment, that qualifies them and that hurts them. So
absolutely,
if insurance prices come down,
it affects people's qualification. When you've got, it used to be pretty common that a homeowner's policy for a $300,000 house would be $750.
Yeah.
And now they're closer to $3,000. So, but I think that is mostly because of roof claims. A lot of these people getting free
because of
roofs.
lawyers did it.
Lawyers do it, but also you have these public adjusters that are posing as roofing companies. Then you're getting a free roof, and then you wonder why your insurance is through.
We pay the premium. Yeah, we pay the premium for all those billboards says billions won, or your roof got hail damage. All those things come about, but competition legislation changed about 2 years ago, and it's rippling through the market. More people are coming into the market, into the Florida market. So I think that's good because that whether it's $200 a month or $350 a month, that means they can qualify for more house.
Absolutely, it does. Well, you think about that. If your insurance went from being $60 a month to $250 a month, that cuts into your buying power in a big way.
Yeah.
And it cuts into your budget. So there's no question about it. It makes a difference. And then you combine that with higher interest rates. And that's why people are struggling with affordability to buy homes right now.
Yep. And now, Bruce, one thing, I got an article here from Inman talking about how down payments are shrinking. So I believe it or not, I thought this when I was 20 years old, but that was a long time ago, that you needed 20% down to get a house. You don't. You can get, I mean, VA's no money.
VA zero down
USDA's no
payment.
money.
USDA zero down
What's
payment.
your average down payment?
You know what? I'd have it. It does change from month to month, but I would generally think that about somewhere between 5 and 10% is your average down payment, because I have some clients that are putting down 30% or 25% and doing DSCRs. And then you mix that veteran in there that's going no money down, or USDA, or 3.5. I think it's probably somewhere around 8 to 12%. That would be my guess. The average person. Now, if you separate that and say the average move up buyer is putting down 20%,
because they're checking
the
out
average
of their
first
house.
time
Yeah.
home buyer is putting down
And
3%.
that's the one I want to concentrate on. These are the people we need to help most. Those people think, I mean, that's why they should call you and just go to webringyouhome.com and figure out where you're at. Know where you're at.
You have to know
You
where
have
you're
me
at.
fast tracked to buy a house. I'm buying 2 more rentals this year, and you have me fast tracked on that. So when I see the right deal, all I got to do is give you fresh bank statements and we're set, right?
Absolutely. Or we can look at a DSCR, where when I'm looking at DSCRs right now, so a DSCR is a debt service coverage ratio loan. Very popular. We do them all in-house. The only income that's needed on a DSCR is the income that the house that you're purchasing produces in rent. That's the only income. So you got to have good credit. You need to put down 20 to 30%. You can put down as little as 20, same as any non-owner occupied purchase.
Yep.
But if you look at the interest rates on the DSCRs compared to a conventional loan, they're really, in many cases, as good or better. Now, in order to get as good or better, you have to introduce a 3-year prepayment penalty on it. But if I can get your rate low enough to where you won't need to refinance it unless the rates hit 5.25% on investment.
We're years away, yeah.
But you think about this. If the average owner occupied interest rate right now is 6.9%, I think it was 6.89%.
Yep.
Okay. That's your average rate. That average person's probably paying 1.5 points. How much is an investor loan right now? They're running in the high 7s and low 8s. I can get you a DSCR in the mid 7s to high 7s on a DSCR, and you don't have to give me your tax returns, give me your bank statement.
That's great.
You got to give me bank statements, but I don't need pay stubs, W-2s. I don't need any of that.
Yep.
It's simple.
Well,
so investors,
you guys have the
only
products.
investors though.
You guys have the products. I want to talk about something real quick, Bruce. I mentioned at the top of the show. I didn't used to see a lot of this. As the market struggles, people are looking for they're trying to reinvent the wheel and say, I've got the new little shiny thing and I'm going to sell your house. Private listings and pocket listings, and we have our own network, run the other way if a realtor mentions that. You need to be in MLS. I took a listing a few
100%.
I took a listing a few months ago, Bruce. They did not know they were not in the MLS.
I think that is malpractice.
Well, depending on what they signed, and this was an older couple, depending on what they signed, I didn't see their listing contract, but they were just disappointed after 60. They did luckily have a easy exit listing.
I wonder what the percentage of time that the listing agent brings a buyer to a transaction that closes.
Less than 2 or 3%.
I would bet you're right.
For my office, and I'm a sprinkling of all of Central Florida.
Yeah, but you are better because being on the radio, we attract buyers that may be interested in your listings. So your numbers would be higher than the average real estate agent.
When I've sold my own, it usually is somebody that found me on realtor.com and they were looking in that area. It's just very rare. They don't have a realtor in the family. They don't have anybody to work with.
So when we hear these realtors advertise on the radio and TV, or they use it in their pitch, that we have a pool of buyers that are interested in your home, to be honest with you, I think that's a pool of baloney.
Yeah,
is what I think it is, because what they're doing is they're buying internet leads and then telling you that they've got buyers to buy your home. Don't get caught up in that, guys. It's just a gimmick. Don't do it. The way to sell your home, get a good qualified real estate agent that knows the market, that's going to explain the proper way to list your home, how to position your home, how to stage your home. Cleve's 50-point stage list is unbelievable. And then put you in MLS and actually return phone calls when buyers are interested in your property. How many times have you had a buyer call a listing agent, or you call a listing agent, and it's not till 3 days later you get a phone call back? That happens all the time.
Well, I have that when we try and present offers.
I
And,
know
and
you do.
sometimes that and it's amazing. We get somebody that just doesn't respond. And what's sad is when we try and say, all right, and then track down the broker, and they are the broker. Because your average real estate company, last time I saw the stat, was about 3 or 4 people. It's a broker and 1 or 2 or 3 agents sometimes. And then you got the big companies that might have 40, 50, 100 people licensed in their office.
Yes.
But then there's only 10 cars in the parking lot. Explain that one to me. But it's very important you pick the right agent. And I, like Bruce, I go straight to MLS. And if I hold it, I get fined. But like I think they're coming up with an option where like we can hold listings off the market. We're not in that kind of
I don't
market.
know if that's a good idea.
And I wouldn't do it, because I mean I can say,
Well,
I've
you're
got
going to
these
get a
people.
lot of shenanigans. Then you're going to get the listing agents controlling it. The listing agents are going to manipulate the lenders, that they're going to give them the lead early, and then they got to pay for their Zillow leads. And then it becomes a RESPA issue. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I think it needs to be a level playing field, and you find the real estate agent that's the best suited. That's why Cleve is one of the top producers in the state, because he does his job. Call Cleve now. Don't be messing around with everybody else. Call Cleve at 407-352-8118 or cleveloveland.com. Get your mortgage application started right away at webringyouhome.com, or call or text me at 407-250-9144. We're here to help.
Really interesting stat here, Bruce. I found out like part of the market being dominated right now is small investors. This is somebody that owns less than 50 homes. And I say your average investor owns 2 or 3. If you averaged all investors out and included the Wall Street giants buying thousands of homes all around the country. But last year, 59% of investor purchases were the average Joe. That was you and
59%.
59%. And working these numbers around, and let's say we had 4 or 5 million, let's say we had 5 million sales. That means about 18% of all homes sold are sold to investors. And this is nationwide numbers.
18, that's pretty
And
high.
I'm spitballing this off an article out of Fox News, real estate here. But it's just that I sold, and this is probably all happening at the median price or below. I'm not selling my $1 million homes to rentals.
No, to
I'm not selling the
investors.
$2.5 million home to be an Airbnb,
No,
things like that.
not likely.
So, but if you look at that, that is about, that's something to be aware of, because they're
the ones that are
they're
the
tightening
first
up
time
the
home
market.
buyers in competition with.
Yeah.
And I tell the first time home buyer that all the time. I'm like, you're in competition with investors that'll pay cash, or they'll just come in there and flip
Or
the
do
property.
the DSCR, yeah.
Right? Or do a DSCR. So that's what the first time home buyer is in competition with, the strong investor, and they're 18% of the market. That's a pretty high number. So you have to position yourself to be stronger than the investor. How do you do that? Because the investor may be paying cash. How do you do that?
Go to
You get
webringyouhome.com.
fast tracked.
Yeah.
Fast track is a full underwritten approval. And that's where I will physically call the listing agent, guarantee the listing agent that you are a super strong buyer. I'll guarantee a closing date, or I'll pay the seller up to $500 a day for every day that I miss the closing. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I'm not going to pay anybody $500 a day. Why? Because we don't miss closings. Why? Because I get my clients fully approved in advance so that you can negotiate a better deal. That's why I do it, because it helps you. Doesn't make any difference for me on my end. I can approve you before or after. Makes no difference to me. It makes a difference to the buyer, because it puts them in a stronger negotiating position.
Right.
My name is Bruce Woodburn. I'm the Loan Arranger. You can call me at 407-250-9144. Write that number down, please. 407-250-9144, or webringyouhome.com. Cleve Loveland can be reached, the voice of real estate here in Orlando, at 407-352-8118. That's 407-352-8118, or cleveloveland.com. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about interest rates, how to structure, and who's buying as first-time home buyers in the market. Where are the opportunities? And a quick update on Hometown Heroes. Do not go anywhere.